Josh and he can send the link. But yeah, I think we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, super happy to be here again. So coming back to CCA after last year, and yesterday we were here with another group, and I see some of you already changing the backgrounds. That's amazing, getting ready for the game. Awesome. So hi everybody, my name is Yotam, and I'm a lead mentor of the Wix Playground Academy here in New York City from Wix. And I've been working for Wix in the past 6 years. And as a graphic designer, so myself, I have a bachelor in graphic design and visual communication from Bezalel Academy in Jerusalem. So originally I'm from there. And then I have here Lisa and Delilah joining me from New York as well, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Sure thing. My name is Lisa Ito. I graduated from Washington University in St. Louis with a degree in communication design and illustration. I've been working at a bunch of different startups and also in-house at a bunch of different companies before joining the Wix Playground Academy team back in July. So I'm still pretty new and learning some of the ropes here. But I love sharing experience working as a designer, from everything as a brand designer to painting murals for different clients and working all across the board in different mediums. Today, we're going to be talking to you about web design, obviously. And so if you have any questions while we're moving forward, feel free to ask. And I'll pass it over to Delilah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Delilah. I have my degree from Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. I have a background in photography and in writing. But with the team, I help to coordinate the programs that we run over the summers and the winters. And once we start to introduce the program, like Lisa said, feel free to ask any questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer.
Amazing. Thank you so much, team. And today we're here to talk about portfolio. Your portfolio is starting a portfolio or improving it, and doing it on Wix or just in general. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Wix Playground Academy, what we do here, and suggest you to join us in the summer. We're going to give you best tips for creating your portfolio, and we're going to do a quick demo, a workshop on Editor X and on Classic Editor from Wix. And feel free to follow me, follow my instructions. It's going to be also recorded for you, so you can use it for future reference. And we're going to have time in the end for some Q&A. Awesome. So without further ado, let's start with the game. Remember, there are no wrong answers. We want you to participate. As Delilah said in the chat, you can also write in the chat your answers. And now another chance for you to reveal yourselves with the video and test the backgrounds. Lisa, should we do like a quick check-in, like just to test if you got, if they got the background changing first before we dive into the questions?
Sounds good. So let's do a quick test. When I say, can you change your background to yellow?
Ooh, wow,
nice.
That was fast.
Good response times.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. We've got a Procreate pad. I like that too. That works just well.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we've got, still waiting to get some yellow screens up here. Almost all there. We want to try blue now. Let's switch to blue. Oh, yeah. Feels like a game show.
Magic.
All right.
I think they're ready.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's jump right into it. What's our first question, Yoti? How many of you have a website? How many of you don't have a website? I'll play along too. All right. Looks like we got a lot of folks who are on the web.
Yeah.
We have one blue. If anyone who doesn't feel comfortable putting your background on, you can answer in the chat as well. Would you rather code a site yourself or use a template? I think I'm 50-50 on this one.
Ooh, I like the analog blue cards.
Yeah, I like the Procreate and the blue cards. Really creative, Drew and Meredith.
I think soccer need to change the red and yellow into blues. It's nicer. You got a blue card. Extra player on the team.
Yeah.
Whatever. New rules.
Looks like Kenlin and Abby would prefer to code their sites, so we can talk a little bit about how that works on Wix. Next question. You colorful or minimal? Whether it's a personality or how you think you're going to represent yourself online. Pretty split, 50-50.
Yeah. The chat is also split,
awesome.
And someone is split. So we have a yellow phone. That's nice. Colorful, definitely a colorful group here. So that's
All right, Pepsi or Coke? This one I feel like you don't have to study to know the answer for yourself. Ooh, how is this both? Just depends on whatever's available. Seems to be Coke majority here though on the screens.
I need one after the lunch that we had here.
Yeah, I know. All
Awesome.
right, let's try the next one. Interactive or understated? Do you like hover states? Do you like little animated doodads on your page? Do you like Easter eggs?
And I know there's a lot of interactive
Ooh, that's,
designers here
yeah,
and animators.
makes sense, makes sense. We'll talk a little bit about putting some interactivity into your portfolio today. Vertical scroll or horizontal scroll? Yellow across the board pretty much looks like. One horizontal. Emily? Very cool.
Wait, is horizontal right to left or up and
Yes,
down?
right to left.
No, I mean vertical. Sorry.
Yeah,
Looks like most people are used to vertical
Yeah.
scrolling.
very classic group. I love it.
Mhm. Let's try the next one. Instagram or Twitter?
I'm debating myself. We need to change Twitter.
I
into
think we
TikTok,
need
right?
to, yeah, just change to Instagram or TikTok maybe for the next class because no one uses Twitter anymore, it looks like. Oh, we have Meredith though. Meredith's on Twitter.
Get some, copy content-oriented people. It's great.
Yeah. If you're a wordsmith, makes a lot of sense.
All right, this is the tough one next. You ready for it?
Here we go.
Ooh, hard to decide.
LA or NYC?
Where would you go? Would you come visit us? High five to Statue of Liberty.
Got some LA. A lot of NYC though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty split. Yeah.
Pretty split. Yep. Try the next one.
New York's saved. Saved.
My favorite question.
Brother.
Do you
Oh, yeah.
pronounce it animated GIF or animated GIF? This is a very controversial question I found.
Yeah.
GIF. No,
GIF.
GIF.
Got a lot of GIFs in the chat. Hard G is the only right answer, says Meredith.
We got to say the GIF, right? Just the letters.
Only a couple of
Well,
GIFs. Put some of that peanut butter in your sandwich for lunch today.
if the majority decides GIF, I'll use GIF.
All right. Or we could, some folks yesterday were saying GIF. So if you just say every letter, then you totally avoid the situation.
The G word.
All right. Have you used the Wix before or have you never used Wix?
Used. Okay.
I've definitely used it. I've got to change my
seniors
screen.
here. I love it. All right.
We got
one.
experts.
I see one that never used before. So because the majority have already used, I'm going to dive into like really advanced stuff, but we're going to share with you some resources for, also beginners, how to start. And it's very, very easy to start. So I just encourage you to dare and try and see it's not that bad. Awesome. Really a round of applause for everybody for participating and doing it so well. Great answers. As we said, there's no wrong answers, but we got to know you. And that's a really good start. If you know yourself, if you're a more visual person or, more person of words, maybe that's how your site's going to look like. So that's a really good start. Or if you already started your site and you're stuck with, with design, with concept, with ideas, maybe you can use this game as a starter. And we teach this and the content of this workshop and way more on our summer program every year here in New York. It's going to be online. So we also invite you to participate and to apply. That's called the Wix Playground Academy program. And we all manage it together and teach. So it's a 5-week web design program. And let me tell you all about it. So we'll start with a quick video. Just going to talk over it. And so this is our actually European cohort from last winter of 2021. And yes, it's, the Zoom grid, but we're also sending a care package to all of our students with amazing workshops and materials. And we do some crafts before we dive into web design. So this is a French studio that was hosted in our Zoom calls and doing some electronic device building workshop, very interactive. And we had some great talks, some great speakers. So this is Alex Beck of It's Nice That, the UK blog, but we also had Jessica Walsh and other great designers. And we partied, we studied a lot, but we also had time for inspiration, for talks, and for some fun activities. And I don't know if you recognize the next animal that's going to happen in the screen in a few seconds, but we had a really fun and funky activity in the end party last year. We had some goats appearing in our Zooms upstate here in New York. There's a farm that part of the activity is that you donate to the farm and you get to pet goats online. So this and much more.
Virtual goat petting.
We do on the academy. And besides the fun, we also teach a lot. You know, we learn a lot of visual design, code for designers, inspiration, research, we how to do it the best ways, advanced web design skills and tools, content writing, and animation basics. And this is geared towards more graphic designers and visual communication students, but applications is open for everybody. And on the next slide, this is a project-based learning, 5 weeks. Okay, so everything that you do geared towards your portfolio, and along the way, you learn new skills of web design. So these are some examples. We'll see some of these examples today in the inspiration, different schools, even from Canada and from California and from New York. A lot of schools joined us and they did fantastic, outstanding portfolios. And this is where you apply. So application is already open for June 2022. If you want to try your luck. And I think we can start talking about what actually hiring managers are looking in your portfolios, or clients, you know, whatever you are aiming to do. So any ideas? What is the challenge for us today as designers or creators when we want to start our careers with a portfolio? And I know most of you already have a portfolio. What do you think will happen when you apply to a job? What will be the biggest challenge in your opinion?
I think the biggest challenge is to stand out from everyone else, but also, you know, show your skills in a way people will understand them.
Right, 100%. Standing out is the right answer, but also, you know, we know that we don't have a lot of time to convince, you know, managers or clients. The world is really fast, and we look at it, a lot of content, videos, websites. We consume a lot of content, so it's really hard. And also, there's a lot of the market is, you know, saturated with designers and with artists, and it's really hard to know. Also for recruiters, who to choose and who to get to the interview. So, right, standing out was the right answer. How do you stand out? Do you have any ideas? You can share with us in the chat, share with each other. You can speak, so speak up with your microphones. It's a pretty safe space here. Any ideas?
Have you seen any portfolios that you can think of how they stood out to you?
Right. Also, everybody chose templates, so you know we have to watch out from this, not to.
I think quality. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think quality is a big factor because, you know, you could both have a really great render, but if one just has outstanding quality compared to the other one, then it's just going to grab more attention.
Perfect. It was Emily, right? Emily,
yep.
Great answer. And in the next slide, I'll reveal the answers for you. So yes, one of them is definitely quality over
quality right there.
Exactly. So on point. First and foremost, I would say be relevant. You know, we are tons of different majors here, but for example, if you're applying for an animation position, you don't have any experience with animation, that might be hard, right? So if you're in particularly learning illustration on graphic design or visual communication, you're trying to apply to a product design position, and you don't have any product design, any UX, UI pieces on your portfolio, that will be really hard for the recruiters to know if you're even, qualified for that. So be relevant to the position that you apply, be relevant to your clients. Your portfolio is also a performance case, a showcase of your skills. So that's very important. Tell a story. The difference between having a template and a unique site is that you're telling a story, you inject your personality into the site, and we'll show you some really cool examples. Spend time on the overall design. For graphic designers and visual communication designers, this is something that I don't need to say, but for all the other majors, please focus on the design of your website. It's very, very important. People will judge you for that. And then also, find ways to make the content very light. For example, on your homepage, have it very minimalistic, as we all wanted in the beginning. But also when I dive into your project page, give me all your process. I want to meet designers that are thinkers. I want to see there's a story behind every project and that you really did it and what was your role. I don't want to see something that was part of a team, but I don't know if you did it or not. So it has to be very, very communicative. Okay, so these are the best tips to creation of a portfolio. And we want to ask you also the next question. What would you consider having on your website? What kind of like those, big chunks of building blocks, and it doesn't have to be necessarily, the graphic pieces that makes your site, but what a good website has in it. Any ideas? And I love it that you shared your voice. We would have to see you and hear you as well. And you can write in the chat as well.
I would say having a good experience flow is like there's no glitches and that everything is smooth. I feel like this would be like a good experience.
Right. Talking about flow. Excellent. Yeah. What was your name?
Ken.
Ken. Yes, you're talking about the user flow, about the experience of the site. Yes, that is very correct. Any more ideas? Thank you for participating. It's really great.
I have an idea of what maybe not to add.
That's also good.
I think people don't like to read. If you throw them a big paragraph, they're definitely not going to read it. So just keeping words to a very minimal and easy reading.
That's amazing, right? Especially people who are coming from our world of visuals, visual design worlds of visual animation and interaction, and they don't have time, right? I mean, I don't have time now to read books over books, and I need to see something immediately. So I would recommend you to use, if you are showing a website, show it on a device. If you're showing an app, show it on a phone. Use mockups. As long as it's original and it's not something that we see that is out there all the time, and it has a really nice environment, yeah, definitely use it. So that's all connected to a message, right? A clear message. I need to read the site right away when it's loading, right? It takes like maybe 5 seconds for the site to load. What's the next? How do you think, how long will a recruiter stay on your site? What's the average? Do you have any idea for that? How long will a recruiter
15 seconds?
15 seconds is good. It's like very generous. Yeah, for a marketing landing page, for example, there's going to be average of 5 to 6 seconds to decide if you stay on the site or not. That's very, very crucial. Maybe recruiters can be more. Maybe recruiter could be half a minute to a minute, because they're going to get an email from you. They're going to get a job application from you. So there's something. But for commercials, for websites that are for marketing purposes, that's very cruel. If it's not interesting, we all remember the 5-second videos, right, on YouTube, the commercials. If this 5-second video doesn't catch you, you skip the ad. If it catches you, you stay on the ad, right? So how big of achievement is that? The same thing here. You have to be very, very careful on your first fold. So a clear message. What is it? Is this a website for online store? Is this a portfolio? So yes, and then quality content. We talked about it. And content could be images and it could be text, okay? And then overall, package all really nicely with a graphic design. So let's talk about in more details of what items do you need, what ingredients do you need. So we all know that in order to create a great poster, you need a story, right? You need a good story and a concept, and you can tell it with text and images, right? You can sometimes tell it only with a text, like with a nice typographic image. But on the web, we have new ideas. We had Ken talked about it. We have a user flow. Okay, so we have navigation that takes us between different sections of the website, and the website is built from pages, right? I could have a home page, I could have an inner page for my project, and I can have folds. Folds are sections, and we'll dive into that in the demo. That is very important to distinguish between those. It's almost like vertical pages. We all talked about vertical scrolling here. So yeah, so we have sections, and we need to take care of each frame very carefully with design. So that's a must-have in your websites. What about spicing it up with some animations, you know, some GIFs, 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 however you want to call it. Bring your site to life, you know, with some moving pixels, moving images, interactions maybe. Maybe I'll click on something, something will pop up. Maybe I'll hover, something will show. It's really nice. Keep the audience engaged. Right, so kind of to summarize all of this into one answer. Why do we even need a design, right? Because, you know, we will show you a bunch of good templates to start with, and you can just put your text there and your images, and that's it. You can have a website in one day, tops. You have a portfolio, you just plug in all of your projects. Why is it so important to have design on our websites, in your opinion? Share your thoughts with us on the chat, or yeah.
Because everybody has access to the same templates. So if you use a template just as it is, yours will look like 100 other websites and it won't be any different.
Exactly. We want to be careful of this point. You know, we want to stand out. So definitely, if you are choosing templates, there are ways to make it your own, but own it, be original. Definitely, I agree with that. So kind of like to summarize everything for you in one sentence. This should be your leading sentence to start your portfolio. Brand, okay, because you are a brand, the colors that you like, the fonts that you like, the crops that you do, and you're creating experience, like Ken said, and you also want to stand out. You don't want to fall into the cliche of the templates, like, was it Tanya?
Tanya.
Sorry about that. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Great. So we're really great to continue and start and take a look at some examples of what some of our graduates. And we're going to take a look at the live website. And what I want to do, I want you to react to those websites. What do you see? Let's analyze it. Let's talk about it. What's working? What's not working? And maybe you can write in the chat. If you like, if you like the site, you can do a thumbs up. If you don't like, maybe you can do another reaction. So let's start. So we are starting with Eileen, and she's a mixed media artist and researcher. So she's a graduated of our last summer, 2021 Playground Academy. And this is how the sites look like. And look what happens when I hover over the elements. Okay. Are we liking it? What do you see here? What's happening here? And then after that, I will go to her project page. What do you see here? And yeah, you can talk about everything that we talked about until now. Maybe things are connected. And I'll go to this dream video. Is this TV is part of the project? There's a video here happening in the background. And also we can go to her about page and get to know her. Very serious person, right? With the tongue here.
You had to describe Eileen in one word. What would you choose?
Abstract.
Abstract. It's a good one.
That's good.
Anyone else?
She's more understated or more interactive?
Unique.
Unique is good.
She's doing a good job standing out.
Yeah, it's unusual, right? Even if I go to the index of project, right? Usually we see a list, textual list of project, or usually we see thumbnails. In this example, it's more scattered. It's not a gallery view. And also there's something interesting that's happening when I hover over it. There's a call to action. I would say that if we're talking about branding, Eileen's brand is kind of covering everything with plastic, right? With these plastic wraps, the bubble wraps and everything. Maybe it's a new approach for thumbnails. Like she can say, yes, even if it's a website or it's a video or if it's a brochure or an app, I'll wrap everything in plastic for you. So there's like a cohesive, consistent web design language. So super, super interesting. Let's take a look at another example. So we have Tareem, and she's a lot of things, as you can see. What are the values that comes out from this site? What do you feel? And I'll scroll a little bit so you can see more. It's a long scrolling vertical site. You can see the thumbnails and the background is changing colors. If I go to one of the projects, I'll get the inner page. What do we see here? Is it clean? Is it minimal, colorful, interactive? What happens when, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's very balanced. So she has aspects of crazy, but also balanced with very minimal and blank backgrounds or fonts so it's not too much.
That's great. I think I like this analytics of the site, right? Because it's really, it is, if you do something very organized with the grid, you can go wild after that, right? Because the recruiter will say, okay, she knows what she's doing with topography, but then, oh, wow, all the splashes of color and the different aspects of what you choose to do is something that's an extra layer. And maybe it's connected to personality, right? We see that there's a lot of personality here, taking a video of her cat. That's almost like taking a look at your archive stories, right, on your Instagram. It's very, very cool. Like a sneak peek to her world. She's also knitting. Very, very cool. So yeah, you can do that with your portfolios.
Like what Taina said, a little bit of organized chaos.
That's a great, by the way, that's a really great value to start with. If you write yourself the things that you like, and we teach this in the academy, you can start with it as well. Great. So another example for you, and I choose something a little bit different from what we usually show, because I know there's a lot of animators here. So we have a digital designer here that she's also an animator, and she's also a VJ. She's dealing a lot with animations, and she's using the transparent video that we're going to show you later on in the demo. Great. Anything that you get from this website? It's a lot going on, right? Anything you want to add?
It's a lot going on, but for me, at least, the consistency helps me understand what's going on. Like, it doesn't feel like an overload, like with the fonts, all, kind of staying steady throughout.
Right.
And the colors, even though there are a lot of them, like it organizes it.
I agree. Yeah. So at least there's a branding, right? There's the same fonts, typefaces, and colors. And yeah, she allows herself to go wild to show her picture, so we can get to know her. And then she also worked with a nice neat typography. Great. It's a bit funky with the colors, but great.
I think
Awesome.
the colors and the patterns make a lot of sense, because if she's a digital video type person, a lot of those patterns come through in like an old VHS tape cover or something like that. So you can kind of get that just looking straight at her choices of patterns and colors.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And also very, very brave to choose 3 projects, and that's enough. You don't have to, even if she had 10 or 20 projects, you can choose the one that are the most top quality of work. So there's a great experience here. Great usage of mockups. It really brings the site to life, and great storytelling in general. Awesome. Let's continue with our presentation. If you have any more questions about the site, or you want to give your feedback. You can write it in the chat as well. Great. So we covered all of that. Where do you find inspiration when you start your process of creativity or creative work? Do you have like a go-to site that you go? We can share with us. We shared with you some of our resources. So feel free to have a chat over this. And we have some articles that we write in our blog, in our Wix magazine, Wix Playground magazine. And these are some of the examples of the titles that we have. So you can follow this up. And then I think one thing I wanted to tackle before we dive into the demo is that you need to have a process, right? If you're a designer, you're probably going to work with design thinking. You know, your process will be starting with sketches and finding inspiration, and you'll build it one step at a time. So I would recommend to use this as well. Sketch your site, even with a pen and a paper. That's totally valid. You can use Figma or Sketch or XD. I don't know what's your favorite software. You can maybe write it in the chat if you're more like Figma, you know, user, or Illustrator or Adobe software. Everything is valid as long as you have like a really clear plan. And then you go to the Wix editor and Editor Wix with that finalized design in mind. Also take care of your copy. Read carefully the site. If you have a bio, make sure that someone else is reading that so you don't have typos. And organize everything before you start. Have a file, a folder with files that you use. Okay, and if you're using Editor Wix and you're building a responsive website, make sure that you design all of your breakpoints. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and go to wix.com and register to your account, and we will share with you some templates. So today we're going to start from a template, and you can sign up to Wix from everywhere. You can also start from blank, but we are going to focus on this template that we share with you in the tutorials. Any of you seen the tutorials that we shared with you ahead of time from the landing page? Or did it? You can thumbs up if you did in the chat so we'll know. I know most of you already used the Wix site before, so that's great. So we will skip the intro part and we'll go directly into the items. Great. Right, I have some music on my window. Awesome. And the design features we're going to go over today. 1 second. All right. We're going to talk about strip scrolling effects and hoverbox interactions, transparent video, like on Haley's site. And then I'm going to show you a nice trick to change your menu into a full page menu. And if we'll have time, we'll dive into Editor Wix. I'll show you some of the interface of that. So let's start. If you open some of the tabs here. So, all right, you can either go to your template page and search for Illustrator to find it. If I search for Illustrator, that's going to be the first thing I see, and you have a quick view. And you can also click Edit and go directly into the site. This is how the site is going to look like. You can check it also on mobile. And this is what you're going to see when you dive into the site. You're going to save it. And I don't need to do a quick overview, right, on the interface, because most of you already know it. So we can dive right into the items I prepared for you today. And I want to show you a really cool, fun scrolling effects for strips for a section. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go to the add icon, the plus panel, and I'm going to actually add a classic strip. If I click on it, it will populate below the content of my site and above my footer. So I want to call my toolbar, and I want to set this one into 800 pixels. Okay, for example, and every section like this, every fold, we talked about fold and pages, I can change its design. I can put a color, an image, a video. In this case, I'm going to use this light pink because I want to showcase an image on top of that. And yes, you can upload your own materials, your own PNGs or vectors. So I'm going to go to upload my site. You can also upload images from other sites that you have on Wix or from Drive. It's very intuitive. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to choose these 3 Mac logos. So these logos I designed for a client, and I want to showcase the process of the logo. So I'm going to start with the first image number 1. This is the sketch, and I want to show a story of the logo revealing itself while I'm scrolling on the site. So for that, I will have to go to this background scroll effect button. And I know there are tons here, so play around and check what you like, but we are going to choose reveal for today's trick. And then I'm just going to duplicate it twice. So using Command D on my keyboard, I'm just hitting it twice, and I created the duplication, and I'm going to change the image with my second and my third image. I'm going to show you how it looks like. And let me know if it's too fast, too slow. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat as well. So second image, third image. All righty. So let's preview the site and see what we created so far. So that's a given template, right? With the name, of course, I can change my name, you know that I'm not Sophie. And this is the gallery of the work, you know, my projects, and I can also change the amount here. And when I scroll down, I can see a sneak peek into this work. And while scrolling on the site, I can see the changing of the images. I'll have to take care of the images and see that it's pixel perfect. So I can create it in Illustrator or Photoshop, and I can create this really cool effect. So I will encourage you to use this panel of scrolling effects, so it's very, very fun and can create your sites very, very interactive. Okay, moving on to Hoverbox interactions. For that, I will go to one of my inner pages, the info page, the about page, if you will. And I want to show you how to create a really nice interaction with my image. So I'm going to go and add a box. That's the first thing I have to do. And it's just going to be a pink box. It doesn't matter as long as the item, fits to the proportions of the box. So I can go to arrange and send to back. And now I want to show you that when I drag and drop elements on the screen, I can do attach to box. A box is almost like a group in other software. So it's attached to this together. Okay, this box will allow me to add other interactions. Before that, I want to change the design, and I want to make the color transparent. So I don't want to use this pink. I can also use white because my background is solid white, but if I had a gradient or an image, I would want to use transparent. Then I'm going to go into hover interaction. This is the trick I wanted to show you today. And I can go to get started. And I just need to make sure that I'm on hover state. And now I can start putting effects, and a lot of effects. So I can do maybe grow or rotate, or maybe a combo of both. Maybe I can do rotate and scale 120%. So let's see what we created in just a split second. So I'll go to the preview mode. When I hover over the box, the image will tilt and grow. Now you can also add elements to the second state, to the hover state, with the plus icon. So you don't have the option to add everything, but you'll have like a limited list here. I'll choose a heading, and I'll make sure that I'm attaching it to the box. And I'll say either CCA. And that's not going to be shown on my regular state, right? Because it's going to only populate on hover. And yes, when I'm going to hover over the site, it will show like a tooltip. So there are many, many examples of things that you can do here. And maybe just to open your, your minds about more examples, I will load this really quick site here that one of my colleagues designed. And this is like an interaction fiesta. Okay, so it will load for 1 second. And then all of these made with the boxes. So when I'm going to hover over the elements, it will appear. And I want to show you this really cool can example. So the fruits and the berries are actually behind, hidden by the image of the can. And when you hover over it, the effect is just moving. Okay, what you can do is you can actually just move the elements on the box. So let me know if you have any questions so far. So what I can do, I can actually move the elements as well, and it will move with the hover. Okay, so imagine that it was hidden, that's the fruit, and you have a can that covers it. It's the same effect at all. You don't need to use any coding. Cool. I think transparent video will be really, really interesting for you. So I'm going to exit this mode. And I just want to show you how I can easily add a transparent video and color it. So under video and music, I'm just going to go into transparent video and just add this nice butterfly. And I can, of course, change its design. And I can use everything that you see from Wix for free. I don't have to pay for anything. I'm going to use this tiger, and I want to show you that you can actually color it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a nice shadow effect. So I'm just resizing it to the size I want, and I'm going to duplicate it. Sorry, one more time. Duplicate with the D. And I'm just going to rotate it for it to be a shadow. And now I'm going to send it to the back of my text and elements, and I want to recolor it. So I can recolor the video with any style I'd like, and I can even choose my site colors, which is really cool. We talked about branding, it's very important to stay with the same colors. So now I'm going to publish the site and see how it works in real life. There's a difference sometimes between the preview that you see on the editor and the published version of it. And hopefully Zoom will not take too much of my Chrome memory. Reload it really fast. And then you can create some sort of a shadowing effect for your creation. So very cool trick. Let me know if you have any questions about that as well. Wix reminds you not to forget also my mobile site as well. Another item I wanted to show you is the quick menu add-in. So we know that you have this menu here, and you can also add pages into that. But what if you want to do something more interesting, like an icon? So I'm going to go and add a button for my button list, and you can add your own designs, or you can use the ready-made from Wix. I'm going to choose an icon button, and I'm going to do the classic hamburger menu. Of course, you can resize it and so on. And you can actually link it to a lightbox. A lightbox is like a pop-up. So I'm going to show you how to add it. Under interactive, we have this really cool feature called Lightbox. And I'm just going to show you how I can design it and change everything, customize everything on the page. So I can start with erasing all of these and change the color background of the lightbox. I can use images as well. Just add whatever you want. And under the setting of the lightbox, make it a bit bigger. Under the setting, I'm just going to click on no, because, all right, no worries. We will send the recording to Josh, so don't worry. And then I'm going to put a menu into the lightbox. So I'm going to choose the vertical one from here. And I can design the menu as well, change its colors, its fonts on the brush icon, and customize design. If I go to the text, I can actually use my site themes. That's an easier way to work, and change its color. And don't forget also to change the hover, because you want to have an interaction, and also clicked to indicate which page are we on. You can also change the spaces if you want, and change the layout and center it to the page. Cool. You can also edit the close button here. I'm just going to move it to the center so it will resemble the button I did on the home page. And I'm going to preview it. So now I have a really cool menu with my work, my store. So if you go back to my homepage, instead of having the banner, I have like a splash page menu. And all I have to do is just connect the button to the lightbox. One last thing, very important. Without it, it won't work. So you're linking, instead of a page, you're linking it to a lightbox, and then you choose the lightbox that you created. So now with the preview, I can show you that I'll click on this menu. It will take me to the lightbox page I just created. Very cool. So I hope I taught you something new in the classic editor. I know most of you already started to work with this. So this is some advanced features. Let me know if you have any questions about this as well. And I want to quickly introduce you Editor X, if I may. Great. So I pre-open one of the sites here, one of the templates. It's more geared towards graphic designers. Let me see if it works. Probably the best way to just close some tabs. All right. So this is the template I choose for you today. And you see that it already have 3 breakpoints. So we also have tablet and mobile. And the way to start measuring the changes between the editors is that I have a different panels here. You see it looks way more minimalistic, so it's more for designers, very similar to other software, and it's a little bit more robust. You can do more things with that. I have those handles that I can create. I can imitate the responsive parts of the site, but I also have those breakpoints here as well, my tablet and my mobile. And we also have the inspector panel, which is very, very important. So every time I would click on an element, this panel here will tell me, the measurements, the sizes, where it's docked to, so there's a lot of different things. I'm not going to dive into that. It's just a quick introduction. I do want to teach you one thing. For example, if you're adding a button on a plus icon, and I'll do like a quick button addition here. If you add it from the breakpoint of your desktop, it will cascade down to all of the other breakpoints, and not vice versa. So if you start from mobile to add things, it will only add it for the mobile. It's only cascading down. So for example, this fixed button will be now on tablet and on mobile, and I'll still need to rearrange it. But if I have too many things on mobile, since I know the screen is small, I can make them disappear and do not display, and it will not show on mobile, but will show on the rest of the breakpoints. So I hope it was clear. It's a really quick, fast intro. I can also change the elements from being fixed into fluid, and then I can use different measurements, pixels or percentage. So I can set it to 20% of my screen, and I can set it for different percentage on different devices. But every action that I'll start from the desktop will go down to the other breakpoints and not vice versa. So if I would change this on tablet, it will not go and change on desktop. Cool. Any questions that you have regarding Editor X or Classic Editor? Is there something that you wanted to do and didn't know how? You can't find something on the editor, you don't know how to start, and I can answer it for you. Feel free to ask. We have just a bunch of last slides with materials that we want to share with you. So we covered a lot today, how to start your portfolio, what are the best tips for you, and what are some examples.
I have a little question.
Yeah, for sure.
I think for me, my biggest struggle is keeping it simple. I think sometimes with me, it's just, I want to do this and I want to add that and I want to do an animation, but I want to do an overlay. And at the end, it just doesn't look good. What would be like a main tip you could give me for keeping it simple and knowing when it's enough?
Great. So first of all, to start with the design, you always design before you go into interactions and to animation, because you need to have a good structure. And what can happen if you jump ahead and you start with animations and like the wow effect, and you didn't take care of the design part, then things will not be stable. So first of all, you need to have like a layout that has a grid. You know, if all your elements are aligned to the left, then you have to have like a axis that is clear. If everything is centered, if you're using typography, don't use too many fonts. Use one font, maybe two fonts, and then not too many sizes, because also sizes of fonts can create, you know, chaos. Also with colors, you know, if your work itself is very colorful, maybe you don't need color for your website. Maybe your text elements and background could be black and white. Then it will pop your work. Technically, what I found that really helped to me is I like to work with sections, and I like to build a section first, and then to check it on all breakpoints or on mobile. And after I like it, then I duplicate it. We have a tendency to work fast, you know, because everything is so flexible and you know, affordable for us, that we run over the whole site. And then after we, I don't know, put like 5 hours of work on my desktop, I'm going now to my mobile and I'm like, oh my God, I need to rearrange everything. So I would say every step at a time. And I can even show you, you know, like it's very easy to just build one thing, check it on other views, and then duplicate it. Also use site colors and site fonts. I think this is something that, I don't know if we have time. If we don't have any more questions, I can show you a quick example for that. Because if you are using vectors, and this is a list of resources that Delilah just shared with you. And we're also going to have a visit in your next career fair. If I go back to, I think I closed it. But Editorix also support it. If you're going to your styles and you see those fonts and colors, if you're changing the colors from here, actually, what you did, first of all, you work with the structure and with the system, and all of your red colors now on your site changed, or red fonts and shapes was changed into blue. So this is something I would recommend you to do. Same goes with typography. If you don't like this serif font and you want to change it, so you change it one time, and all of the style is changing for this. So I don't know in this template exactly how many fonts was using this, but it's also very easy to create your brand assets and just go in here and choosing it from the header. That should change. I don't know this should change just to the so that should happen automatically on the templates. But yeah, really good question. Any more questions for us today? We're also going to come back to CCA for a few more visits. So we have the career fair on October 21st. And if you have any questions about the Playground Academy and you want to apply, come join us. And I think we have also like a feedback session on October 6th. We'll send you information about it as well. And that's it. I mean, I think the next slide will be just if you have any questions. Oh, one more important thing. You have a little bonus from us. So reach out to Josh. We got some coupons for you for a free year for Editorix and for Classic Editor. Just make sure that you put a memo for yourself, because after a year, it's going to be auto renewed and you're going to pay for the full year. You can also move to a monthly payment if it's easier for you. And if you choose not to continue, that's fine as well. Nothing's going to get lost. You're going to have all your design and content and text saved on your site. You're just going to get the ad populated back, and your domain is not going to be connected. So you can choose one of these plans and choose the yearly, and then put your code that you get from Josh, and then the magic will happen, which the amount will transfer into 0, and you'll have a free year from us as a gift. Yeah, any final questions before we let you go back to your school life, classes?
I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for your time, for the presentation. It's always so helpful to review Wix again and learn all the new things to apply to our portfolio.
Perfect. That's good to hear. And thanks for participating and asking the questions, and making this presentation more engaging, more, tailored to your needs. That's what we want in the end. We want you to have all the questions answered and all the tools that you need. And Wix is continue to improve and add more and more features. So stay tuned and come back for more lectures with us. And yeah, if you have any more questions in the chat that I can refer to, you can also reach us out. Delilah, Lisa, and I are here. We have our inboxes. If you have any questions, if you want to ask about the Playground Academy, what to apply, what do I need to get in, if you have any questions about Wix. So we'll be happy to answer. That's great. If you have some, Wix is running for a couple of years now. So we are keeping rolling out some new features and new things. And definitely, if you want to start a new website on Editor X, you can have yourself a brand new responsive site that you couldn't do with Classic Editor before. But if you want an easier life, Classic Editor is really, really easy and friendly to use, for sure. All right. Any more questions? Someone want to ask? Feel free.
I will say really quick, for everybody here, I'm going to be getting the codes from them shortly-ish. I know who attended, so I will email you guys all of your individual codes. So no worries on that.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah. And Josh, if you need more codes, let us know. We'll provide more.
1,000 codes.
Unlimited codes. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.